Hey YouTube, it's February the 1st, Monday, Groundhog Day Eve, I guess. Groundhog Day's Eve. Anyway, welcome back to the Bubba Continuum. I am not Bubba. Please remember that in the comments, unless you're trying to upset me, in which case that's what you should call me. I'm trying out a new camera tonight. It's kind of involved with the whole online dating picture. I signed up for Christian Mingle, which is an online dating site, a couple of weeks back, and well, I don't know, 13 days, something like that. And it's been a fascinating experience. I've gotten to know a lot of people in Africa who are almost certainly men. They pretend to be Americans, and they say really stupid things to you. They don't speak, they don't type English very well. They don't write English very well. And they send pictures out that are what they'll say is, oh, I'm 48, and then they'll send you a picture of like a 22-year-old porn star. And I guess the idea is you're going to go, oh, there's still hope. I'm not going to have to date someone who looks like me, you know. This is my shot. And so you start talking to them, and then they type to you in broken English, and they take you to Google Hangouts, which is a site that nobody in America uses. And once they get you there, I don't know what they do. I guess they extract all your personal information and drain your bank account. I don't know what's the most insulting thing about it. I mean, the fact that they use pictures of porn stars, or maybe the fact that they're men. A lot of these people are men. That's just icky. Anyway, I kept getting these come-ons from accounts that were obviously fake. There's a lot of ways to tell when an account is fake. One way is there's no name. I said this in another video. When you start out on Christian Mingle, they call you Mingle or something. They'll put some digits after that and some letters, and that's your name. So if you get a little smile, they call it, from another person, and their name is Mingler, it's an African scammer. I mean, plain and simple. And the other clue is that there's no pictures. Another one is you'll say something like, "Please no Catholics" in your description, and you click on their profile, and it's Mingler, and she's Catholic. One of the things that's fun to do is to use reverse searches, image searches on Google, and that's how you find out that you're talking to someone who's using a porn star's picture. I don't know if I said this in one of my earlier videos, but I have received some pretty remarkable stuff. I received one picture of this is Christian Mingle. You go there because you think to yourself, there's like a 2% chance that before I expire, I might talk to a Christian lady who has decent values. So you kind of have this idea in your head that the people you're going to talk to might be Christians. So one of these people sent me a picture of a woman in a short nightgown. I mean, like, barely past her crotch, totally see-through, and she was not wearing a brassiere. And she was really, I'm going to give her credit, whoever this lady is, magnificently endowed lady, okay? But anyway, I have this sixth sense. A lot of people aren't like me. They can't read people. They're not sharp like I am. A lot of people would have said, well, obviously this lady is a Christian. But something told me that something was not quite right here. So I turned her away. And another one sent me a picture of what I think was a Puerto Rican stripper. I'm just guessing by her appearance. In really, really small lingerie, I will call it. So this is what you want when you want to see, you want to spend the sunset years of your life with somebody who's really in tune with the Holy Spirit. This is exactly what you're hoping to see when you go to a Christian dating site. Well, anyway, I got to the point where I would say, instead of saying, when these people contact me, instead of saying hello or whatever, I would just say, hi, how's the weather in Ghana? Because Ghana is apparently the epicenter of this stuff. They have a huge industry there. And sometimes they would admit they're in Ghana and they get really mad at me, which like, why are you mad at me? You're trying to steal my life savings, and I smoked you out. What's the matter with you? But they would get mad. So I ended up talking to a number of these people, and I was very blunt with them. I'd say, you need to get a real job. You're a thief. What's the matter with you? What kind of man would do a thing like this? And I would say, well, you're more like half a man because no man would do this. And I would question their sexuality. I'd say, boy, homosexuality must be a huge problem in Africa. Anyway, one person contacted me and sent me a very interesting. She had a very interesting profile. She had several pictures on it. They were all the same person. Wasn't dressed like a porn star. I don't have an encyclopedic knowledge of porn stars, so if you send me a picture of a porn star, there's a pretty good chance that I'm not going to have any idea who it is. Um, so it didn't look like a porn star and was dressed modestly. And she said things in her profile like, if you're a leftist, don't bother me because you're married to an ideology. And of course, that got my heart thumping. Said she was in Wasilla, Alaska, and that was a dumb thing for her to say because the first thing you're going to say to her to find out if she's a scammer is, do you know the Palins personally? And she doesn't know what a Palin is. Well, what good is she? But anyhow, this person insisted, got somewhat indignant, and insisted that she was a real person, and said, we need to Skype. We need to get on a video chat on Skype, and you will find out that I'm a real woman. And I thought, there's like no chance that this person is real. Why is he, I'm sure it was a man, why is he doing this? But then I started thinking about it, and I thought, it'd be good to have a webcam because I have these action cameras that I use to make videos. And whenever, they distort your appearance. And it's not like I'm a day at the beach at my best, but they made me look like one of those guys from the famous website Men Who Look Like Old Lesbians. I don't know if you've seen this site. It's worth checking out. It's hilarious, except when you feel like you belong there. So I started thinking about it, and I thought, I should get myself a webcam. That'd be a neat thing to do. So that's what I did, and I'm using a webcam right now. I'm basically making this video to try it out. I can actually see myself on the computer, and I do seem to look somewhat more human. So I'm really impressed with the results. What else is going on in my life? I bought a new ice cream maker. I keep feeling like the rapture's just about here, and the end of the age is about here. There's really not much you can do with your life because you're pretty well done. I keep feeling that way. I keep thinking about that passage in Revelation 22 that says, "Let he who is righteous be righteous still. Let he who is filthy be filthy still. Behold, I come soon." Something like that. You can look it up. It's about the return of Jesus. And he's basically, it sounds like he's describing what's going on with me. Like he's saying, whatever you've done up to this point, that's it. You don't get to do anything else. You don't have time. So don't get married. Don't start a business. Don't go on a diet. It's not going to work. Don't pick up a musical instrument. Forget about travel. Kiss your hopes and dreams goodbye because I'm coming back. I keep feeling that way. And I keep feeling like nothing I do matters, and I might as well just, I'm dedicating myself to prayer, obviously, because I don't want to be left behind. But also, it seems like, other than that, all I can kind of do is amuse myself with my hobbies and stuff. And for the longest time, I've been wanting to get an ice cream machine. I mean, a really good one. I already had 2 ice cream machines. Don't ask me why I had 2. Well, okay, I'll tell you. I had one, and then I wanted to get some extra bowls for it, and it turned out it was cheaper to buy another machine with 2 bowls than it was to get bowls by themselves. So I had one of those machines. It's got an aluminum bowl on top that's full of some kind of liquid that freezes when you put it in the freezer. So you freeze the bowl for at least a day, and then you put your ice cream stuff in it and turn on the machine, and you get pretty good ice cream. It's not too bad. But I kept thinking to myself, I got to have the real thing. For years, like I would say at least 8 years, maybe 7, I've been thinking about getting I've been thinking about getting a machine that has a compressor in it. So it chills the ice cream for you, and all you got to do is throw the slop in there and turn it on. And I did all this research, and I ended up with, review paralysis. This machine gets this kind of review, that machine gets that kind of review. This one looks really good, but oh wait, somebody says his exploded. So it was really tough There's apparently it works like this. You can get a very nice machine with a compressor made in China for about 250 bucks, which is a lot of money for an ice cream machine unless you're totally eccentric. And they get good reviews and all that, but they're Chinese, and what if this company disappears tomorrow? And I finally decided on a machine from Italy. This is a weird thing I don't really get. The Italians make pretty bad ice cream, in my opinion, but at the same time, they're like the world's leading experts on ice cream technology. If you've ever had Italian ice cream, it's okay, but I mean, give me Ben and Jerry's any day. I mean, like there's this stuff called tortoni that tastes like wax, and then there's spumoni, which is like frozen water. I mean, their flavors are not good. So, but for some reason, they make really incredible ice cream machines. And I spent 650 bucks on an all stainless compressor ice cream machine from Italy. I had this gigantic pile of Amazon points, and I said to myself, Jesus is coming back. I'm going to have some decent ice cream. So that's what I did. And it arrived, what is today? Monday. It arrived on Friday. And before it arrived, I went out and got stuff. And I thought to myself, what am I going to make? I'm not going to make vanilla. I'm so tired of vanilla. That's so easy. I said I'm going to make fruit ice cream. I'm going to make strawberry ice cream, um, cherry vanilla, stuff like that. That's more interesting than vanilla, but not too difficult. Well, the first thing I tried to make was cherry vanilla, and what I did was I looked at recipes online and I read about all this stuff. People were saying, "Oh, you got to use this weird chemical and that weird chemical, or it's not going to be like ice cream parlor ice cream, or ice cream or grocery store ice cream. It's not going to be as good. You're just going to have to settle. You have to put you're supposed to put something called guar gum in your ice cream for the texture's sake, and other people say you have to use uh, this seaweed product. I don't know how to pronounce it. It's either carrageenan or carrageenan. It's also used in beer making to take particles out of the beer. I happen to know that because I used to make the best beer in the universe. So people say you need to use that to pump up the taste, and there's some other gum arabic, and which is really expensive. And they say you got to use that. So I started reading all these things and trying to get everything in order before the ice cream maker arrived. And finally, I said to myself, forget these people. I'm going to make this stuff with stuff that I have in the kitchen. And when it turns out that it's defective in some way or another, then I'll go out and I'll try to improve it. I'll add one ingredient at a time, try to figure things out. Instead of spending 50 bucks literally on 4 bags of gum and seaweed. So I made I bought frozen black cherries from the grocery store, which every grocery store has, I guess. And I made cherry vanilla ice cream, and it was phenomenal. It was the greatest ice cream I had ever eaten in my life. I know homemade ice cream is good, but this stuff was phenomenal. I mean, no excuses. It's pretty good for homemade ice cream. It's pretty good for a first try. It was astounding that when you eat ice cream, you don't want to taste little grains of ice in it, and it had none of that. And when you make homemade ice cream, one of the problems is it tends to turn into a block of solid ice when you put it in the freezer. You're not really supposed to eat it right out of the machine. You're supposed to throw it in the freezer for a while. Well, I threw it in the freezer for a while, and it was still wonderful. You could still scoop it. It was just like real ice cream. The only problem with it was that the cherries they froze, so they were really hard. And I started reading about that, and there was bad advice everywhere. And I finally said to myself, I'm just going to try. I'm going to try this. I'm going to combine this stuff with cherry liqueur. There's a type of cherry liqueur called Cherry Hearing. Hearing is a company, and they make different liqueurs, and one of them is cherry. And it's I mean, if you like that kind of thing, it's really good as far as fruity drinks go. But I live in a place where mozzarella cheese is considered exotic. So when I went to the liquor store, they did not have cherry hearing. So I ended up buying Smirnoff vodka because it was the cheapest vodka that I could see there, and I combined it with grenadine syrup, which is like a mixture of cherry juice and sugar and pomegranate juice. And I mixed sugar into it, made it even more gloppy, and I sliced up the cherries and threw them in there and made another batch. And this stuff I mean, the angels aren't fit to eat this ice cream. I make the best ice cream in the entire universe. I'm convinced of it. I've never had anything to compete with it. It's just astonishing. So I started texting all my friends. I lost my mind. I was sending them pictures of the ice cream to make them eat their livers. I always do that. I mean, it's something you have to do. When you make something that tastes really good, you have to send pictures of it to all your friends who can't cook so they suffer. I don't know. I guess that makes me a bad Christian, but you got to do it. You have to do it. So I sent them all pictures to make them eat their livers, and I started asking them what their favorite flavors were and stuff like that. And one of them said butter pecan. So today I'm making butter pecan. It's in the freezer now. Um, just astonishing. I'm so glad I got this thing. I wish I'd gotten it 8 years ago. But the thing is, now what am I going to do? I'm going to be making ice cream. I'm going to have my entire freezer full of ice cream. And how much ice cream can you eat without dying? I mean, maybe if you're really nuts, 2 pints a week. And I've made so far a gallon and a half in 3 days. So it's an issue. I wish I could still eat chocolate. I really wish I could still eat chocolate. But ever since I started praying in the Spirit, I just cannot tolerate any type of stimulants. I think I said this before. I went to the kitchen the other day and I ate like a tablespoon of chocolate chips. I had a bag of chocolate chips and I ate a tablespoon of them. I thought I can get away with that. And I went to bed that night and I had to take Benadryl. I couldn't sleep. Think of all the chocolate flavors I'm missing out on. But now I'm starting. It turns out that I have this unbelievable. First of all, I got a good machine, and second, I have an incredible gift for writing ice cream recipes. Because this recipe, it's not something you can find on the internet. Well, I guess you can if you know where my blog is, because I mentioned it. But I just pulled it out of the air, and it was astonishing. So I don't know. It's weird the way life works out. It's really strange. I don't know what to do with my time now, but at least I'm going to be eating good. I also tried a couple of alternative conservative social media sites, even though I was criticizing. There's a guy on YouTube who does machining, and he's just a wizard. This guy can do anything, welding, machining, you name it. And he put up this. He's had a lot of weird problems over the last couple of years. Like he got a divorce, and suddenly he's all patriotic, and he puts up the Pledge of Allegiance at the beginning of his machining videos. And I always skip it because I had enough of that when I was a kid. So you gotta click past the Pledge of Allegiance to watch his videos, but his videos are really good, and he's gotten really patriotic, and he started putting out all these products with the American flag on them. And he got a divorce, and I'm really wondering if it's over Trump, because I know a lot of people, that has broken up marriages. That's how crazy people have gotten now. That's how divided we are. So he put up a video saying he was going to start moving his videos to something called Rumble, and I think he said he was going to get rid of Facebook. He was going to move to something called MeWe, MEWE.com. So Rumble is like a fake YouTube. It's like an alternative to YouTube, and MeWe is a fake Facebook. And I really have no interest in these things because there's nobody there, when you get there. But I said, what the heck? Maybe I can have some fun associating with people that are like-minded. I mean, give myself something to do during these last times. Well, so I did this, and I went over to Rumble, and it's not actually that bad. Typically, when you go to a conservative social media video site, you'll see a really popular video there, and it'll have like 300 views, which is everything you need to know about why conservative social media is a bad idea. But this guy had a video on Rumble, and he had between 7,000 and 8,000 views, and I thought, well, that's worth it. I mean, of course, here I get like 23 views, so I can't really complain. If I go over there and get 17, it's not that big a deal. So Rumble doesn't look too bad, and apparently they're not going to demonetize you for showing a gun. So that could be all right. But I have to ask myself, do I really want to? I thought to myself, why don't I just upload stuff to Rumble and YouTube and see what happens? Then I thought, well, with my internet speeds, it takes me like 8 hours to upload a video. So if I upload videos to two sites, it's going to be 16 hours. So I think I'm just going to pass on that for now. So I went over to MeWe, and it's like Facebook, except You know, you're not under the boot heel of a bunch of liberal nannies, a bunch of effeminate men and, you know, she-males and so forth. So you can say pretty much whatever you like, I think. So I started going through this place, and I thought there must be groups here, like they had on Facebook. So I found one for people who like machining videos, and I signed up for that. And I signed up for one called Christian Singles, just for the heck of it. You know, couldn't hurt. You know, on Facebook, something like that would probably have 5,000 members, and at MeWe it was I think 199 before I got there. And I signed up for a Christian end time group. I thought that'd be interesting, see if anybody else is having these strange ideas. Um, some of the things worked out okay. The machining group is pretty good. It's pretty busy. It seems like decent people, nice and conservative. There's a reason why they're conservative. Young liberal men are kind of effeminate. They don't really like to. They don't like to, you know, to deal with sharp objects. They don't like to deal with fire. When they use tools, typically it's like a desktop printer. You know, and they're printing the same Yoda head over and over and over. And or they'll use what are the other things? Oh, desktop CNC stuff like that. So you don't tend to see them running a 16-inch lathe in their garage like me. Um, so I kind of like that group. That's worked out well. The Christian dating group, they turned out to be the way I put it on my blog was I said it was like an ice cream mixer at a funeral home or something like that. No, at an assisted living facility. That's what it was like. I mean, nobody ever talked, and except they had this chat thing every morning where everybody would say hello, good morning, God bless you, and so on. And it turned out they were really uptight. They had no sense of humor, and the ladies like to lecture people, and that's something I'm not having. You know, I can go and die in a ditch by myself and have a good time, or I can hook up with a woman who wants to be my mom. And the choice to me is obvious. You know, I already had a mother, and she's been dead for about 24 years, and I miss her, but I don't want another one. You know, the Bible says a man is supposed to be the leader in a relationship, and I don't need somebody uh, trying to tell me how things are from the very outset. Feminism is absolutely poisonous. It's unbelievable. It's one thing if you're working with somebody, but it's another if you're trying to have a marriage and you're trying to hear from God and then share the good things that God gives you with a woman, and she's standing there with her fist balled up, chirping at you about how you're wrong and how Benny Hinn really has all the secrets of the universe. So I was sitting there thinking about it today, and I thought, you know, I should get out of this group. So I did after a day and a half or whatever it was. So I'm all done with that. And I got out of the end time group too because there was some guy there. I mean, it almost made me understand why Facebook goes after false information. Well, I should say false information from the right and from Christians, not false information from leftists. Because if it weren't for false information from leftists, there wouldn't be any information on Facebook. They endorse it, they spread it. So anyway, I went to this end times group, and it was all these weirdo guys who thought they were prophets, and they were, you know, just arguing with each other. And then there were atheists there who were just there to torment Christians, and it's a by invitation group, and someone let them in and then let them stay. Why would you do that? They're talking about how you believe in this imaginary guy in the sky, and well, why are you here, man? You know, honestly, I mean, do I go bother you when you and your friends are giving each other facials and tightening up each other's man buns? Do I intrude? No. So I ended up leaving that group as well. There was a guy on there who I think he's anti-Semitic because he kept putting up these things criticizing Israel, which were wrong, factually wrong. And he put up this thing saying that apparently he's really excited on supporting the Arabs and the Muslims. He put up something talking about how Muammar Gaddafi was actually a hero, and he built this giant irrigation project. And he said NATO went in and destroyed it with nuclear bombs made from depleted uranium, which is, hello, impossible. I mean, the thing that sets the uranium in a nuclear bomb, apart from ordinary uranium, is that it's not depleted. It's enriched. And this guy had no idea. And he put up these things about how circumcision ought to be outlawed. Like, man, don't you have anything better to do with your time? He put up this thing talking about how medical science had proven that women hate having, see, I don't mean, want me to be gross, but how they hate having sex with men who are circumcised, and how it causes them all kinds of problems during sex, which is, you know, I mean, I'm not Dr. Ruth, but I know better than that. Like, what are you talking about? There's no way they could make a difference. So I don't know what his problem is, but I got away from that too. I may give up the whole thing. I'm not too sure. Um, I keep praying in tongues more and more. I feel like I keep getting more and more revelation. God keeps improving me more and more. I worry less. I have more joy. Um, really sorry to see Biden stumbling around the White House, but that's what America chose, you know. And a lot of people are out there saying we're going to come back and we're going to rise again and all this nonsense. Like they say, God won't let us fail. Like, America's not in the Bible. Hello, it's not mentioned. Yeah, we can fail. The Persians failed, the Medes failed, the Romans failed. It can happen, you know. It can happen. The British failed, the French failed, the Russians failed. We failed. We're done. We're washed up. Sorry to say it. Well, I don't know. I want to take a look at this video and see how it looks, see if the appearance is better. I hope it is because the action cameras I was using, they have fisheye lenses on them, and I went out and I specifically looked for a camera that did not have such a bad fisheye lens because they make you look like an ogre. Um, I'm sure I'm much more beautiful now, and I hope you're all enjoying it. I imagine it's breathtaking. That's it. I'm going to turn this thing off. The new ice cream, the butter pecan that I made today, ought to be hard. I'm already thinking about improving it. I'm thinking about next time I'm going to use brown sugar instead of plain old white sugar. And I may steep the pecans in hot milk because I read that's a good idea. So we'll see how that turns out. I hope all of you are enjoying this, enjoying watching America spiral down into the abyss. Uh, all I can tell you is take heart. Try to get God to put a bubble around you and your family, and just kiss America goodbye. I guess it was great while it lasted. Talk to you later.